Today's video is very special. This is an exciting episode. Folks, we are invited to talk to Agnetha's friend and producer Jörgen Elofsson. And this island happens to be the same place where the ABBA members used to live in the 1970s. We were there last year. Today we are in search of Agnetha Fältskog, the person, the artist, singer and songwriter, and her latest project, ABBA. Jörgen's home studio is just around the corner from that shore. Let's go there. Jörgen Elofsson, you released a new single with Agnetha. A new album is coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? How is it for you?
I feel really good. Yeah, it's great. Well, I think there was a lot of stress before the first song coming out. So now I feel relieved of that stress, but also a bit empty. You know, it's like, okay, now what? It's a bit like the question, where do we go from here? Actually, you know, that type of thing.
Where could we go from here?
Yeah, where could we? We could go anywhere, really.
I think we will look into that later. But first, I want to focus on what we have right now. I want to talk with you about the new song, Where Do We Go From Here? About Agnetha as a person and artist, and about this new project, A+. So A+ uses Agnetha's original vocals from the album A, but you created entirely new versions for each song, which we've known for 10 years. Why?
When we started the project, you know, it came from this wonder, the question, you know, what if we had made this record today? What do you think it would have sounded like? And I thought that was such a great question. I thought, wow, let's check it out, you know. And of course, we have the whole record here, all the files and all the stuff, you know, in our archives. So the old one was out of license, you know, with Universal or whatever record company it was. We figured, let's freshen this one up and that make it interesting for another record company to take it, you know, and work it. We brought it out. I choose one of the songs and
Back on Your Radio.
Back on Your Radio, yeah, and it just worked, you know. It was like, wow! It's like, this is crazy, you know. And then let's try. Let's see if it's not just a one-timer. So we took another song, and then we took another one, and it's like, wow, this really works. Because her voice sounds so current.
And it was the inception of Agnetha herself.
Yes, I mean, that's like the original, it's like a thought, like a word. She just placed and I caught it, you know, and I thought, let's see what happens, you know, and then she loved it, and we said, let's try it. Let's see what we can do. Almost like an anniversary for the other record that we made.
That's what it is. We're celebrating 10 years.
Yeah, it's a 10-year anniversary,
So how was it to work with her again after 10 years?
It was great. I can tell you this much. The whole process this time has been much easier. And this time we kept it very sort of familiar, you know, like nothing stressful or anything. It was a bit more stressed last time, but it was in a different time. It was, I went everywhere, so I was a bit more stressed myself. This time I've been more relaxed. But it was I really loved doing the last record. I thought it was amazing. It's something that I also carry with me, you know, the whole process. But getting a chance to do it again was like, wow, that's a gift, you know. And also then to do it in a totally different way. In this case, we're doing totally different recordings. That took about a year and a half. So everything takes its time, you know. If you want to do something proper, you know, it's going to take time. And it's a great chance for somebody like me, the songwriter, to hear these songs, I think, what they originally came out as, you know, like the pop. Because I am pop, you know, and we are super happy with it. I know other people are too. Agnetha, especially, she loves it, yeah. So, and that's really the whole point of doing it.
And how much was she involved creatively for the new versions on A+?
She's been coming in and out of the studio. I mean, we didn't push her. We don't want her to like constantly be running in and out, you know. She's got her life, but we kept her, you know, want to come up, listen, or I drove out there to play it to her, and what do you think? And then she's she can look out for those details. She loves this little thing, and then she reminds me, oh, here it comes, you know, that's the thing she likes, and oh, bang, bang. So she's like analyzing as we listen, which is really cool. She even notices her breaths, you know. I like that breath. Like musical, it's rhythmic, you know. So she's like on that level, you know. So she's very, very musical. She's very into the studio work. But she trusts us as well. And also, you know, when she doesn't like something, she will let us know, because she's not afraid to say her opinion. And there's a few things that didn't pass, you know. She's the artist. Without Agnetha, there's nothing. So she needs to love it. And yeah, she does. So, yes.
Can you explain to us the creative process of redoing the songs? How did you come up with new arrangements?
Well, that is a very good question, and it's very interesting because I worked with my producer colleague here, Anton Mortensen. His name is Hybrid. He's been with me for like 10 years now, more than that. He's a younger guy. He's about 30, you know. So he's in a different generation, which is perfect when you want to make music that sounds, you know, fresh, and he's got always interesting ideas. But in this case, I let him start. So I let him strip down everything. Here's the vocals. Go home, do something, you know, because I was too close to the material first. So I needed him to point me in a direction. So they went off and did something. And I go, wow. And then I can jump on, because then it became new for me as well. So that's been the process for most of the songs, I would say, for all those songs. And once he done that, he came and I said, oh, I like that, but let's take that away. And then we started on something, but then I could jump in. But I was too close to start the whole process.
You needed some starting point.
Yes, and also a younger approach, you know, an approach that wasn't there when we did it. So that really helped.
Did you sample some of the old instruments into the mix?
No.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. Because everything there, except from the voice, as soon as you bring something in, it becomes a little bit of a contamination, so you can't do that. But we also didn't want to make a mishmash, you know, because if we had taken some, it would have been just remix. And we didn't want to make remix. We wanted to make a brand new album. And that's the thing we did, you know, we made a new album from an old album. And that's a huge difference from remixing. So some of the songs have just switched. They don't sound like the old song anymore. It just sounds like a new song. But it's the same.
That's fascinating, because this new version of the album was described as sleek, radio-friendly pop anthems with a consistent disco pop vibe. Now, the original A really is one half of uptempo songs, one half ballads. So I was wondering how challenging it was to recreate all those slow ballads from A. What kind of songs were more difficult to rework?
The hardest songs as a ballad would be a song called Past Forever, because it's so classically written. It's very classic. I wrote it together with a fantastic what's her face? What's her name? Oh, I just kept just forget.
From America.
Yes.
Sager, Bayer Sager.
Carol Bayer Sager. Yes, a fantastic songwriter. I can't believe it just flipped my mind. But anyway, she's fantastic. But she's also old school, you know, like she's like 70s, you know, like a fantastic writer. And those songs have different structure. Especially that song was challenging because we had to do it, you know, 3-4 times. There is a song called, one of my absolute favorite songs, it's called I Was a Flower. Beautiful, beautiful ballad. And this has turned into a totally different thing here. And people go, but actually, don't worry, the old record is still there. No, but what happened to this one is I've speeded it up a little, so it had more of a tempo, you know, and it's amazing. So yeah, it's really, really good. It's turned into this, I don't know, super radio, touch of R&B, wonderful song. I think they're gonna really like this, you know, because Some things you're going to get used to it, you're going to, oh, wow. But I think many will be astounded that it's possible to do this, like a totally different identity of a song.
And where did you record the new backing tracks?
Right here.
In your studio here?
Yes.
Where you also recorded Agnetha's vocals for the new song?
Yes.
How many musicians were involved?
Just me and a hybrid. We decided to work the way you work today. There's a couple of guest musicians come in. One really, really famous Swedish guitarist that was actually playing with Agnetha on her solo albums in the early 70s and late 60s. Yeah. His name is Janne Schaffer. He's legendary. So I met him at a place on Dennis Pop Awards. He was there by chance, and I thought, wow, this is cool. I asked him if he wanted to take part. So he came and played. So he's playing on the song Past Forever.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, no, it's so... Have you heard it? Not yet.
Not yet, no. What we did here is the brand new song, Where Do We Go From Here? Why was it important for you to write a new song for this project? What's the story behind Where Do We Go From Here?
If you release a new product, you really would like to have something brand new. I played it to Agnetha and she absolutely loved it, and she was like, wow, this is so great. She was living with it for a while and she said yes. When we had done that, when we had recorded it, I was like, But again, that new song became this unbelievably fresh record. It just feels fresh, Get a bit of that, I don't know, there's a lot of breath in it. There's a lot of positive vibe in it. It just flies, there's a lot of energy. But I think it took a couple of months or maybe 3 even, to finish that song.
When was that? When did you record the new song?
Last summer.
Last summer?
Yes, in August we recorded.
And when did you start to write it?
In March, that same year, end of March 2022. So, the journey of a song, eh?
Yeah. And to some extent, you deliberately use contemporary filters like vocoder and autotune.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we use, on this new record, I've let her voice run through different things, and not because it's not good, but it's sometimes we need an effect for a song to get a sound right, So we allowed ourselves to play around, and she loved it. So she doesn't ever need to hide, or we don't even need to enhance to make it good or anything like that. Yeah. But with Agnetha, we're very careful. So instead, we are enhancing it and using it as an effect, maybe now and then.
What kind of effects do you want to achieve?
Different filters and different flangers and delays, and there are tons of effects really that you can use and will use, and also in the mix editing process, chopping up words and dance your pain, those kind of things, But everything is done with a lot of respect for her and for the voice, so it's nothing crazy. So, no.
And how would you describe Agnetha's creative input when recording this new song?
She's very focused. She did have the song back home, she was, working it through, learning everything about it. She always writes things down and make sure she's very effective in that way. So once she comes to the studio, she knows what she's going to do. I can't say that for a lot of new artists, but she's like an old pro, the way they used to be, very prepared and knows everything. So once she came in here and once we started working, I think effective time was an hour and a half for her to go through everything.
1.5? Yeah,
like effective time. It's like, you're making a movie. All the lines are different scenes, you got to get them right, so we wanted to feel like it's, like in the old, sort of in the old days when, there was a lot of voices, her and Frida's, and, packed it up to give the song a lot of push. But you still hear her through, she cuts through like a knife, She loves stacking vocals, like she loves harmonies. She's very good at harmonies. She comes up with the harmonies herself. She wants, oh, can I try that? Can I do this? So once she had done it for an hour and a half, I knew I had everything. She was very nervous afterward. you know, like, oh man, it wasn't good, oh no, you know, and I was sitting here feeling, wow, it's so good. So it's a different world between, you know, because she wants it to be so good, and she don't know if, oh, am I good enough? Is it going, where my voice? I'm not sure, and all those kind of things. But she's always a bit like that, you know. I think it's part of being that professional, you know. You want to give everything, you want to do such a good job, and being an artist, you carry an insecurity as well. Because if you're secure, you can't be an artist, you know. So you have to be both insecure and great at the same time, because it's the insecurity that drives perfection. You know what I mean? So it's like actors. Was that good? You know, like Robert Redford. Was that good? You know, like they're always, you know, they don't know. You don't know exactly, you know. So, but you want to do such a good job. And for her, now she wanted to be, you know, for my sake as well, of course. Because that's where we are really in the relationship. We want, you know, I want to make good for her and she wants to be good for me. You know, we try to keep that legend going.
And did you realize this is actually the first time in over 50 years that Agnetha continues to work with the same producer on one of her solo projects?
Oh, yeah.
The last time was Byrne on her third and fourth solo album in 1970 and 1971.
Oh, he did them.
Yeah. That must say something about your relationship with Agnetha. So how has it evolved after A in 2013?
I mean, first of all, I really like her. I think she's a great person. Hopefully she feels the same about me. But I think we meet in the music. And I think that's how she meets people, you know. The Byrne twice kind of thing wasn't an accident, you know. But I mean, in this case, I feel we meet in the music. I think I understand a lot about her, I think, you know. And that does help. Especially, I think, if I would put myself in her shoes for a second, being who she is, I would work with people I would really trust. And, you know, you give trust and you get trust back. And then it evolves into a good working relationship. I think that's what we evolved into. I think she believes in me and trusts me. It's a wonderful thing to be able to help her reach the audience out there. Yeah, I think it's an amazing trust.
How would you describe Agnetha as a person?
Oh, for me, she's dignified, sort of quiet, doesn't speak too much, warm, caring, very family-oriented person, and also, again, very musical. So, yeah.
How would you describe Agnetha's singing voice?
Agnetha sounds just like she was a young kid coming out with a record today. It sounds perfect. So I don't understand what that is. Maybe it's because we've heard Agnetha's voice for so long that it's part of our DNA almost. And so wherever that voice comes in, it feels right. Like it's one of those original pop voices that just makes it work. She has matured, you know, like a great wine, you know, not being rotten, if you know what I mean, but really matured into this fantastic, wow, it's just amazing. And it's a little lower, it's a little warmer, you know, but it's so heartfelt and you can really tell a story. She's actually, I think, the artist that I think is the best of telling a story. You know, when she sings, she's telling the story, because that's how you follow her in the music. Every word it's like an actor playing a different scene. Here she's sad, here she's happy. You know, you can really hear that in the voice, and it's just getting better actually.
ABBA sound engineer Michael Bitretto said something similar about Agnetha and Frida, that they are one of the few or the only artists that he worked with who can be technically brilliant, but at the same time emotionally convincing.
Yes. Yeah, I think he was right, you know.
You experienced the same thing with Agnetha.
Yeah, I do. And she's, the talent she has, it's still there. The raw material of her absolute musicality, it's still there. That's why it sounds so wonderful, even though she doesn't do it that often. When she does it, really good. And I'd rather have it very few times and being really great than not being so good and too much, you know, so, yeah.
Every 10 years?
Yeah, every 10 years. I think that's what she would like.
Between A and A+, it has been 10 years, and Agnetha returned in music with Voyage and ABBA. What would you say has changed in her as a person and as an artist with that experience?
I think she's more relaxed, maybe. Yeah, more relaxed, more content with the whole thing. I feel that the process was easier this time. It's more calm and more tight and not so spread out, you know. Otherwise, I think she's the same. You know, it's like me. I'm kind of the same, but different.
Before we talk more about Agnetha and this new project, let's go back in time and go through some of your own history as an artist and songwriter. You started out as a solo artist in your own right and released 2 solo albums in the early 90s as Shane.
Oh yeah, yes, I did. If you look hard enough, you'll find stuff. Oh
Yes.
dear.
Your first album was called The Man in Me.
Yeah, and also, interestingly enough, recorded in the Polar Studios.
Exactly.
Yeah, how weird is that? It was a fantastic studio. Now it's gone.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, it's a big culture treasure that wouldn't have happened in America, for instance, or in England. They keep the places. They don't make gyms out of them, you know. Yeah, I thought it was a big shame that it disappeared. There's a lot of music history there.
And then you decided to end your career as a performing artist during the 90s and concentrate on just writing songs. You became part of Stockholm's Chiron Studios, where international artists produced many of their greatest hits in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Take us back to that time. What is your story?
It was amazing moment, a chance, what happened. I mean, I don't understand. But I actually ended up there. I made music for about 15 years. And I thought, well, it almost happened, but it didn't. So I was more like, where do I go from here? Yeah, what am I going to do with my life? And I felt time was ticking. I felt maybe I'll just give up music. I couldn't give up. It's like giving up on yourself. But what I did is kind of stop trying to be an artist for a second. And then by chance, somebody asked me to write a song for a Swedish artist, Carola. Mm-hmm. And I did, yeah, I can do that. And then they actually liked it and took it and recorded it. And I was like, wow. And that was when I heard her voice on something I had written. That's when it switched in my head. That's the day I became a songwriter.
And you wrote songs for artists like Westlife, Leona Lewis and Britney Spears. How different is that songwriting compared to writing songs specifically for Agnetha Fältskog?
It's kind of the same, really. So I'm thinking about Britney and I think, what does she need? What would she want to say? For Agnetha, for instance, was a lot of those songs came about me out walking. What does she want to say? What can Agnetha today say? She's a grown, mature woman. She's been through it all. What does she want to say? How does she want to talk about love? So it feels like this is what she could say. And it's the same as with the young artists like back in Chiron.
And now you're on the BMG label with Agnetha, the same label that also has Kylie Minogue. Now there is this rumor that there is another song written by Agnetha Fältskog, Kylie Minogue and Jörgen Elofsson.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I thought, wow, that's crazy.
The song is apparently called No Lights solo version, and it was due to be released in the summer of 2021. The rumor is 2 years old.
Yeah, I know.
And now I wanted to ask you, what about that rumor? Can you confirm or deny if this song exists?
I can absolutely deny that rumor because it has never happened. That's the craziest thing, because I saw it myself and I was going, oh man, that's interesting. So I have to disappoint you in that department. It has never happened. Who was the third? There was a third person involved?
For the songwriting?
Yeah.
Agnetha Fältskog, Kylie Minogue, Jörgen Elofsson.
Oh yeah, that was me.
So back in 2013, Did you record more songs with Agnetha than those 10?
No. We were careful with our time. We really respected her in that sense. So there is just those 10 songs, and now there's 11.
For a long time, I have this idea in my mind that many fans and friends are actually excited about as well. To go back to Agnetha's Swedish songs, her own compositions from back in the day, rewrite them with English lyrics and have them newly recorded by Agnetha herself. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's a beautiful idea. It might just stay on that idea stage if you want her to record them.
It should be her.
I can promise you one thing. I keep asking her to write songs. Can we write a song? Can I listen to something you've written? She's a very gifted writer. She always has songs going on in her mind. And she's a composer at heart. So it's more like if she has the time or the energy to do it, you know. When it comes to Agnetha, you never know. You never know. She might just say, yeah, you know. I continue asking her from time to time, you know, because I love working with her. I think it's fantastic.
And for that, I want to say on behalf of myself and many fans, you gave us an exciting time with so many memories and arguably one of Agnetha's best solo albums. For me, that was the first time ever to witness the release of new recordings by any of the ABBA ladies. It was certainly one of the biggest highlights in my 20 years of being a fan. And now, 10 years later, you bring Agnetha back again. And I know that many younger fans are experiencing this for the first time.
Wow, it's crazy. I don't know. You know what? When I was a kid, you know, she was there on the radio constantly. We had a radio in the kitchen, it was on. I heard a lot of her songs there. You know, Swedish top, you know, top music, whatever, top 10, you know, she was always there. I have a big memory when I was walking to buy my dad a newspaper, you know, in the kiosk. I walked down there, I had my little crown or 5 crowns or whatever, and buy that one and get some candy or whatever. And then that was on the newspaper flash, you know, news flash, boom, breaking news. Agnetha getting married. And I really remember that moment. I was there. She was riding in a horse carriage with Byrne and waving, you know. And I kind of never forget that little moment I had there. So to have this honor, really, what it is, to have someone like Agnetha wanting to work with you, it's like there's some amazing power when you get to work with somebody you listened to when you were young. I mean, we couldn't, in our biggest, craziest dream, imagine that she would go on a stage. So she surprises people. And she surprised us now by making a new song and doing this project together with us. I mean, that's a big surprise. It's a wonderful gift.
It is. So from my heart, from our hearts, I say thank you so much. You are so appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me here.